Hey, good morning, everybody. Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so of course, today we have the Sacramento Kings and the Los Angeles Lakers. I ain't done homework on that yet, so this ain't that video, but I'll have it for you a little later, of course. But I did want to talk a little about the Lakers. Just listen to a quick little snippet from Ticket TV this morning. He was talking about the Lakers are renegotiating, revamping up trade talks for Russell Westbrook. And he felt that they were, like this is just them once again, doing what they got to do, trying to retain something for him, since he's going to be likely expiring at $46 million. So, without being re-signed, it's a sound thought. Obviously, it's the thought we've been thinking the whole time. But the question is, can you really get an asset for him, or are you actually giving up assets to get back pieces that look like assets that aren't actually assets, and now are going to be even worse off for it? And that's my concern. It's like, I think it becomes an evaluation of talent conversation, because a lot of what has been said that looks realistic to me is the Doug McDermott and Josh Richardson and Jakob Poeltl trade for Russell Westbrook and whatever else would go with it, probably a pick or two. That's a trade I'm absolutely 100% against. There's no way I value Doug McDermott at all. Just to be cut and dry about it. And then Josh Richardson is a player I've never liked that much in terms of he goes to different places and he just doesn't really play that well. Yeah, they get him to be a 3-and-D guy. Yeah, they get him to be a wing. But he underachieves everywhere he goes. And he's played well in some places at some times, but the majority of the time you end up hearing that he just ain't played well or whatever. And so for my thing is, like, if he's coming in as a solution and we're giving up, a Hall of Famer in Russell Westbrook who's actually helping our team for better or for worse, a lot of help is there. He's probably going to win a Sixth Man of the Year. I don't think we need to be giving him up for throw-ins and pieces that we can't retain in, like Jakob Poeltl. Jakob Poeltl is likely going to go get a bag somewhere. Now, he could very well get a bag from us. And maybe bringing him in will get us a head start on negotiation process with this player. And if you value that player to that degree, then you want to get him in early. I think it makes a lot of sense. So I'm not against acquiring out Jakob Poeltl if we're intending on re-signing him. I like him as a player enough to think he'd be a good, solid starting center. Problem is, it's not exactly the piece I'm dreaming of when I consider what I have is worth. And just because I can't necessarily get what I want in this market doesn't mean that I'm willing to give away what I have. You know what I mean? Just to satisfy the circumstance. Now, I understand that Doug McDermott can shoot some threes, but I don't expect no more than 15 points on a good night. And most nights he's not going to play. He's another guy who's not going to be in our rotation because he don't play defense. I know how Darvin Ham operates in these situations. He ain't going to play him. So that's a no-go, man. And then Josh Richardson, like I said, he can help us some, but I would much rather him at a contract I can control. Give me him at $6 million a year. Then we're talking about Josh Richardson, nice role player. He can be our 9th guy, 8th guy, and if we need him to start on certain nights, he'll be there. He could be like Troy Brown. That's about as much as I'm getting out of him. Am I really trading away Russell Westbrook and all that comes with that for Jakob Poeltl, whom I like a lot but may not be able to keep? Doug McDermott, of whom I don't think holds value at all, and another Troy Brown. And that's what I'm giving up Russell Westbrook and possibly pick equity for? That is the worst. That is the worst trade. Now, the Buddy Hield, Miles Turner trade, I will be the first person to tell you that I'm honestly not sure that I even agree with my own take on that anymore, because of numbers don't lie to you when it comes to players playing well. And Buddy Hield and Miles Turner have had good seasons. In fact, Buddy Hield's had a career season in Indiana. Key in Indiana. When you put him on this team with our coaching staff and how we run things, I don't know if you get the same production. I know how he looked in New Orleans, which was solid. I know how he looked in Sacramento, which was not so solid, in a very, very logjam situation that gave him minutes in and out, in and out, in and out. He's also kind of in that type of situation in Pacerland. I don't know that he would be in that situation with us. But I also know that we have some other guards that we can use as well, including some players that I'd like to hold on to, more so than I'd like to acquire him. So that's my thing. It's like, okay, I like the idea of possibly getting some pieces that we can retain, but are we going to be able to get those pieces? Can you turn Russell Westbrook into some pieces that I think are going to look good in this uniform? And Buddy and Miles Turner, I just look at this situation. I say, damn it, they've just simply overplayed what we'd expect from them to play this year. They've just played better. You know what I mean? And That just is what it is. More so Buddy than Miles Turner. Miles Turner is an all-star level player when he's healthy. He just hadn't been healthy. And my argument with him is he's long in the tooth. He wants a contract. When you got a guy who's his age going for a contract, the first thing that comes to mind is like Al Horford. You know what I mean? Like, it could go either way. You get Al Horford in, and he could play really, really well for a long time, or he can be somebody like they did in OKC, and they just set him for a whole season. Like, you don't know how that goes, but you damn sure know that you don't want to pay him $20 million a year. You know that. That's what Miles Turner is for me. So I don't doubt that he can come in and help our team immediately, stretch the floor, be a shot blocker. And at this point, the way he's been playing, if we feature him that way next to AD, I do think him playing that way can make us a real contender. But I always wait for him to go down, just like I wait for AD to go down. You know what I'm saying? That's what it would be for Miles Turner. It's like, yeah, we look great out there for the 10 games that they're together, but there's going to be 70 games where they're not going to be, you're never going to see your core. And that's what I know. You put together Miles Turner, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, you're never going to see your core. They're going to be hurt. It's different times. So for me, it's like stability, man. And then I look at like Zach LaVine. I wasn't high on that. And I actually don't think it's realistic. Unless Zach is forcing himself to LA, as to which I don't like his contract. Versus, damn it, that's a hell of a price tag to get a player of that caliber. But it's because the contract is trash, so it balances itself out. If he were on like if he were on a $10 million less contract, like he's making 35. If he was making 25, I would be a full go for Zach LaVine because he's worth 25. He ain't worth 35. See how that works? That's how it is in my head. So it's like when you're dealing with this type of stuff, it's like, are we assessing who can help us on the basketball court as much as we're assessing our future? If the answer is no, that's probably not a bad thing because you need to assess your future when looking at the imbalance of what this year's franchise team looks like when you got AD and Bron down there who are older and injury prone. So it's like, I don't want to just sit up here and tell you that I think those are two pillars of strength that are just going to make it all the way through the season and we need to invest heavily in them because of it. That's not my attitude, to be honest with you. And if I had a core that I believed that were the case, that would be my attitude. So that's where I part ways with a lot of Laker fans. I think a lot of people may believe that AD and Bron need to be invested in right now because they're two pillars of strength, and if we just get them enough, we're destined for a championship. And what I'm telling you is, that's not my belief. No, they're not. They're not stable enough to stay healthy enough. You know, that's what it is. It's not even about whether or not I think they could find chemistry or desire to or figure it out. No, it's none of that. It's about, are they going to be healthy? Are they going to be able to run up against Zion 7 games, you know, and have enough in an overtime of a 7th game to beat him? The answer is hell no. Hell no is the answer. To be completely honest with you. We're not going to have enough energy to defeat some of the scenarios that are coming our way. You know what I'm saying? You get all the way to the end of the season and at game 7, you got a double overtime. You know what our team is going to do. We're going to jack up 3-point shots. It is going to go bad. But the thing about it is, in order to get to that point, we would have to shake off some of those habits anyway. And I don't think we are. You know what I'm saying? Just like, if we were to get that far, that means we learned how to win, as to which we'd probably do things differently when we get there. Fingers crossed, but then again, who knows? We're not getting there. That's the point. And that's why I'm not investing in a Zach LaVine contract, giving up 2 picks and God knows what else, along with Russell Westbrook, and then getting back his contract and then proceeding to have it for like 5 or 6 years as it inflates to like $50 million, whatever it's going to be. I'm cool, man. And some way say, well, we're going to have more money because you're going to have more of a pot in the future. You can't necessarily assume that you're only going to have as much money right now as you're going to have in the future. Maybe Zach LaVine's contract does equate to $25 million as inflation hits. I'm like, yeah, but if it goes the other way, then it's $70 million. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? There's no way I know it. If it goes the other way, you're holding on to something even worse than that. So I'm just of the mindset that if you're going to invest in a contract like that, let it be attached to somebody who's bionic, like Bron was before he got here and like Russell Westbrook continues to be. You know, like Giannis. Then I'm comfortable giving them all the money in the world. I know they're going to play every single game. You know what I mean? Which brings me back to my point. We have one of those guys. Russell, he's one of those guys. For all that we complain about him making $47 million, one thing's for sure, he's going to give us every night's worth of basketball. And he's giving you triple doubles every night. So if nobody else is really doing that, then guess what that equates to, ladies and gentlemen? Y'all ain't going to like this. him being at a fair price for what it is he provides based on the rest of the league and the level that they play at. Even your favorite stars ain't gonna play as many games as him, and if they do, they're not gonna play at a high level as him, as consistently as him, unless they're MVP candidates. It's true. It's still, even now, with the triple doubles he's putting up right now, guys aren't doing that every night. And if they are, again, not every night. So this is what it comes down to. The Lakers need to be very careful not to trade away assets for players that are not as stable or as sturdy, as strong as Russell Westbrook. You give away Russell Westbrook for Jakob Poeltl, you think you're going to have a nice rental with Jakob Poeltl, he goes down. You don't even have him. Russell continues to play. You know what I'm saying? This is what I don't want to happen. The key is to not be without what it is that you've acquired because of injury. That's the key. So if you're acquiring more injury-prone players, you have to envision your life without them. So that's what it is, man. It's like if we're not planning to be without what it is we're bringing in, if it's injury-prone, don't do it. That's it. So all these players are injury-prone. Every last one of them, every single name I've mentioned, with the exception of maybe Buddy Hield, is injury-prone in this situation. All of them, dude. All of them. They all have their concerns there. So I'm not reaching for any of that. I'd rather keep the sturdy Russell Westbrook piece, let him play out the rest of the season, keep my 2 picks, and then re-sign him at a price tag that makes sense for me and keep that durable piece in place while we continue to work on whatever it is we're working on as a franchise. Because at the end of the day, for better or worse, we don't have anything sturdier than him. He's the only one we can pencil in to play every night. Ain't nobody else on our team, including the people we're reaching for, expected to do that. That's literally why you keep Russell Westbrook. Maybe that's not a good enough reason when you consider some of the mistakes that he's made. But then if you look at the production, it balances itself out. You just got to have him on a price tag you like, and that's exactly what we'll have if we're able to renegotiate him with a good price. But if we trade him away, you best believe he ain't coming back knocking on our door. Maybe you don't want that. Maybe you do. I don't know. But I'm just saying it's just not happening. Once he leaves, he's gone. And so I'm frustrated with Russell's decision making. I don't like his basketball IQ. I ain't going to sit up here and act like I feel differently. I don't. I just have a balance in mind to know what he brings to the table, and it's extreme. It is very extreme, and it's easy to take for granted, especially since we run him off the bench. But other teams won't, and I do believe his production is going to lead him right back into an all-star game. He's playing at an all-star level right now if we were starting him, to be honest with you. He is. If you give him the 35 minutes he's used to getting every night, he's going to put up the same numbers he put up in OKC right now. And I think people think I'm joking. I'm not. Especially if you remove LeBron James from the situation. Because half of the battle for him is the anxiety of playing with the king. And I know nobody ain't going to say that out loud. I haven't said it out loud until now, but that's exactly what I think it is. It's exactly what I think it is. And so for me, it's like, all right, he's shown that he can do some clutch things if he's not thinking. If you don't have the pressure of having to think and make it work, he can be just, free-flowing and let it fly, and it falls, even in the clutch. But when it's centered on him to get it right, and LeBron James, one of them players over there, and the Lakers, bright lights, that's not for Russell. Not for Russell. And he's been dealing with it in spite of it not being for him, which is a real serious sign of character, in my opinion. And I think he wants it to be for him because he's been in this situation so long to now he's starting to find a pride for overcoming it, which is something I'm rooting for as a Laker fan, especially when you see how much a guy is going up against. And so for me, it's bittersweet because I have to live and die with his mistakes. If I weren't a fan, it would be even easier to watch him succeed and fail in a Laker uniform and root for him because I wouldn't care whether or not they win or lose. But when we lose, it becomes a situation where you start wondering if trading him is for the betterment of your situation. But the answer is always going to be no if you're talking about the stuff that we're talking about bringing back in this market. The answer is no. You can ask that question in a different market when you can get something for him. Yeah, probably. In this market, when everybody's trying to fleece you out of the only picks you got, no, you can't get nothing for Russell Westbrook that's better than what he is. Not to my eyesight. Not if anybody knows what the hell they're doing. And that's what it comes down to. For people who are like, no, that's not true, Brandon. It's like, yeah, it is if they know what they're doing. The whole league should know what they're doing in regards to dealing with the Lakers. The Lakers have to give up those picks. And as a Laker fan, I'm telling you, no, I'm not going to. So that's how I feel. That's exactly how I feel, man. I think that the moves the Lakers need to make to get better are moves that can move other pieces, but not those picks. You can add some second-round picks, even though I don't want to give those up either. They have less value. You can get them back easier. But as far as first-round picks, I don't even think those should be on the table at this point. Not after the games these guys have played these last 5 games. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. then you drop the type of games they've been losing, the Philly game, the Celtics game. And see, that's what I would tell them too. If y'all would have won them close games, the Celtics, Pacers, Indy, Charlotte, Blazers, all these games that y'all dropped, both the Philly games, I think I would feel differently about investing in you. Because I know down the stretch of basketball games, it's a good chance you're going to find a way to win. So them possible scenarios I see where we get down to the final 30 seconds in a game 5 of playoffs, and you know what I mean, 6 or 7 of the playoffs, whatever. And do I trust this team? No, I don't trust this team. Absolutely not. Nope. No. Now, could they prove me wrong? Of course. They're good enough to prove me wrong. They have the pieces to prove me wrong, but they also have more of a likelihood to be missing pieces. That's what it is. So I'm there with them. I'll root for them tonight. Of course, I'll do the homework on Sacramento. I'll tell you who all, will play tonight. I think the chances of us winning the game could be solid. You know what I mean? I think we have a solid chance of beating the Kings. We just beat them last week. But the way we've been playing has been so incredibly low IQ. And so, we've had some bad issues that are outside of our control with the refs too. So that doesn't help your belief that this team can get it done, man. It doesn't help when they continue to drop close games and have even, win games that are close against teams that don't want to win, stuff like that. So that's my thought, man. I don't want to make a trade with San Antonio Spurs that's going to bring me back Doug McDermott or give them any of my picks. If you can bring back Josh Richardson without getting rid of picks, I wouldn't be against that, because it's all about the price tag you get him. I don't expect him to do anything, but I'm optimistic that he comes in and makes me look foolish. A lot of others have. So I would love that if we can get him at a price tag that's better than what it is we're giving up right now. You just sign him as a free agent, just add him to the team. Like I said, I'm as high on him as Troy Brown. Work on your weaknesses, 3-point discipline, rebound the ball, and you'll make me happy. But my expectations are going to be that with Troy Brown. And I'm not driving Josh Richardson for him to be that. I'm sorry. I'm not doing that. I grab me a second-round pick to do that. I go grab somebody that's on the back of one of these benches and ain't playing to do that. I'm not grabbing somebody I expect to be in rotation to do that. So that's what it is, man. Buddy Yield's style of play concerns me, but the way that he's playing right now makes me feel like I didn't make the right call. And I think most Laker fans feel that way about him, who didn't want him on this team. He's just playing too well for us to be certain that was the right thing to say. Like, nah, buddy's not going to play well. Well, yeah, he is. He really is. With assists and rebounds to go along with a lot of points. And so I'll just eat the crow and say, hey, man, I had that wrong, bro. He's playing well. But the problem is, do I trust him? I still have that taste in my mouth for the 1 for 9 games that I used to have him on my fantasy team playing for Sacramento. He played 30 games, 30 minutes a game, and he go 1 for 8 from behind arc. Give him nothing else. I ain't going to shake that. Maybe that was just his development stages. Maybe he's shaking that off of him, but I haven't seen enough of him to be gung-ho about that. But I will say the numbers he's putting up this year, it blow it out of the water, man. He's playing well, period. Every night. And so is Miles. So it just doesn't feel good to know that those players could have been on our team. We rejected them, and they're balling. That's production we really need. Well, for whatever it's worth. So if the Lakers do that trade, I don't want to give up 2 picks to get those players, because my idea about them is the same, but it's just they're proving me wrong as they play. Also, Fred VanVleet. Wow. Look at his numbers these last 2 games. I felt like an absolute prophet when I was talking about Fred VanVleet 2 days ago, when I told y'all all he needed was a 30-point game and some huge assists to remind people that slump he's in is some bull crap and it ain't going to last. It ain't going to last. I told y'all it ain't going to last. I think it was maybe 10 hours later he put up numbers like that. And in the very next game in the back-to-back, he put up numbers like that again last night. I'm telling you, that Fred VanVleet thing, that is not real, bro. He's not going to stay playing as bad as he's been playing, and it's probably too late already. He just had 2 all-star games back-to-back, basically. And so did Drew Holiday, ironically. I got to go watch the highlights because they were going against each other doing that. It must have been spectacular. But that's what I'm here to tell you guys. Fred VanVleet, that little slump we're talking about, he snapped right out of it hours after I said that. Hours after I said that. So that's what I'm telling y'all, man. You got 5 good minutes to keep a price tag of a guy, man. You got 5 good minutes. Just like I said, to trade Anthony Davis at that high price, to trade Dennis Schroeder when he was balling, to grab Fred VanVleet when he's low. You got about 3 days in these situations, man. You got to work and act fast, and you can't react too much to the highs and lows of production. Because you look at Fred VanVleet, now they're going to try to get 2 more picks for him than they would have gotten 2 days ago. You wait 3 more days, he might have another bad game. It's that kind of thing. You got to stay disciplined. But at the end of the day, what I told you was true. He's not going to play like he's been playing all season anymore. Like that was a slump. That was a very, very historic slump that if I may say so myself, it might have just been the chatter around his name of people saying, yo, this slump ain't real. It might have snapped him out of that slump. You know what I'm saying? So all it takes a few trade rumors for a guy to have some optimism about his season and snap out of a slump. And I think that's what just happened. So I think the scenario is up for the Toronto Raptors. I do not think they should trade him at all, if you ask me. I don't think they should trade him. I think they should keep him throughout the season and pay him and find somebody else to get rid of, honestly. I think that much of Fred VanVleet. I really do. You don't want to pay him no $40 million a year, but you definitely don't want him as a guy you drafted who has an NBA championship and all-star appearances under his belt to leave your organization when he's in a very, very temporary slump. No. Just because you're not evaluating him properly because you have other people to pay. No. It's just no. You got to evaluate him right, see what his price tag is. Don't overreact to the slump, and make sure that you evaluate what your negotiation process with him will be properly. And if you're just gung-ho on letting him go, then you let him go anyway, whether he's playing like this or playing like that. But you don't let him playing like that force you into trading him, especially when he only played like that for a good month of the season. And he's played great the rest of his career. So, yeah, man, if I was a GM, I would have gotten him. If there was any chance he would have been in a Laker uniform, I'm telling you right now, at that price tag, yeah, Fred VanVleet's too good of a player to get at that price tag. But if he's going to leave your organization just like Kyrie, just like Jakob, just like anybody else, you can't trade for something you're not going to re-sign. So it stands for him just like everybody. So that's what I got to say, man. That's where my head is. So go back and watch some highlights of the Kings and then talk about them and let you guys know that I think we can compete with them if we play better than we did these last 4 games. Hopefully we can get Austin Reeves back and Lonnie Walker back. They should be on tap to come back sometime this week. Hopefully it's today. I haven't checked yet, but that's what I'm hoping for, man. I just want some of our guys to get back, some of our high-level players to get back on the floor and give us a more full basketball club, because we have had guys step forward since they've been gone, and what that means is they should be ready to do more for the team when those guys get back. It makes us a better, fuller, stronger basketball club. So I'm excited about just the opportunity we have at bringing those guys back to a situation where these guys have had all those minutes. That usually does translate well. And what else? We can't lose faith in Thomas Bryant. The assessment of what has happened over the last couple games with Thomas Bryant is a bit of an optical illusion. In the Dallas game, you had to remove him for schematic reasons. It wasn't because he was slumping. And in the last couple of games, he just wasn't able to play as well. You know, running into Sengun was just a monstrous problem, and then we lowered his minutes because of it. So when you lower his minutes, if he's averaging like 19 and 9, and you lower his minutes, he goes 6 for 6, going up against a good defensive player on the minutes he has down there, then the production didn't really fall off that much at all. You just didn't feed him as much. So it's only been a couple games since he's been balling out of control, and those have been the circumstances in those situations. He just needs to come back out, be featured again in a matchup that's a little more friendly for him tonight. Well, I don't know. Sacramento got all the centers in the world. Maybe not. But he played well against Sacramento last time. He needs to just be featured like we featured him in those games. Get him his same old touches. Let him get the ball in the hoop for the mid-range jumper. Get him a couple dunks in there. Keep feeding him like we've been feeding him with Braun and Westbrook. And reestablish him as a center that we want to depend on once again. Because at the end of the day, when we get AD back, what is our problem? We have trouble getting him the ball in the second half. That was our MO before AD went down. We just had to find a way to get him involved and not have guys like Lonnie and Troy shooting more than AD. Well, the best way to keep that incorporated into your situation is to use Thomas Bryant to simulate that during real games. And so we have to remember that that's something that we've been working on before AD went down. We have to understand that's something we're going to have mastered when he gets back. So that's very important. So yeah, use Thomas Bryant, man. Use him. I know he can't defend. He never could. Pulling him off the floor because he can't play defense, you might as well never play him. That's what Darvin needs to understand, bro. You don't put Thomas on the floor to defend anybody. Ever. If he gets you a block, it's like Shaq hitting a 3 or something. It's not his game, bro. You want him scoring, and you want him attacking people and drawing fouls. That's his best defense, and rebounding the ball on the defensive end. That's his best defense. Everything else, it's offense. Score. Think Dirk. You putting Dirk on anybody ever? No. You want him scoring. That's TB. So you got to give him enough help down there defensively, or you might as well just accept the fact that he's going to give up points every time. And so that's what we saw against Sengun. Coach got frustrated, pulled him off the floor, and I'm just like, that's the wrong way of approaching it, man. You just got to make him go with Sengun more. Sengun was killing him defensively, so I get it. But Thomas is going to score. That's it. And rebound for sure. That's it. So I would like him to work on other things. That's why I was so disappointed AD went down, because my thing was before AD went down, cook Thomas in practice, man. Make him a better defender just by scoring 100 on him in practice every day. Just give him every look he's going to see against everybody. And by the time he gets out there against all these other dudes, he will have faced Anthony Davis, the best person he's going to face every night, in practice every game. So even if he's getting cooked by Anthony Davis in practice the same way he's getting cooked by most of these dudes, when he gets out there against most of these dudes, he will have gotten reps against Anthony. So that's what it's all about. Get him his reps against AD when he gets back, and make that boy a better defender over time. Because as long as he's as bad as a defender as he is right now, we can't get the most out of him. Darvin just won't play him. So that's really what I got to say, man. Shout out to Wenyen Gabriel. He's balling out. Welcome back, Patrick Beverly. He was a welcome addition to our team. Glad he's back. Glad the three-point shot is back. You know, this is an unorthodox thought, but it's the truth. Sometimes all it takes is an injury for a guy to snap out of a slump, man. A rolled ankle will have them reestablish their entire workout regimen that'll get their body in a place where their mechanics are where they need to be. And I think that's what happened for Patrick Beverly, man. I think that's exactly what it is, man. A little injury kind of got him refocused and got his leg strength back. Now he's hitting threes in a way that he's been trying to all season long. So maybe I'm off in regards to that, but it looked like whatever, just what went down is helpful for him overall. So hopefully we can continue to have that strength and continue to be fresh out there, because we need his thought out there. We need his mind. We need his mind. Simple as that. So that's where we're at, man. Like I said, Sacramento tonight. I'll get you that convo probably in an hour or two. We'll see how long it takes me to get it done, but I'll get it done. And that's what I got, man. Everybody have a fantastic day. My name is BDF44. I thank you all for watching.